You could sense the atmosphere shift, the air, the tone, the entire trajectory of the Cleveland Browns franchise. One awkward collapse, one torque to the back, one fleeting instant when Dylan Gabriel crumpled to the turf during a non-contact drill, and everything was altered. No warning, no moment to process, no preseason blueprint for what was about to erupt. In that flash, Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a hyped rookie anymore. He ascended into the guy. Truthfully, it had always been gravitating toward this. The murmurs, the practice film, the rising chorus of analysts, the undeniable reality that his jersey was flying off shelves like it was Christmas Eve. If you crave the unfiltered story, the tangled subplots that never make highlight reels, hit that subscribe, because now it's official. QB1, week 1, season opener against the Baltimore freaking Ravens. If that doesn't send chills crawling up your spine or trigger a full body anxiety twitch as a Browns fan, then you're asleep. This isn't just a personnel shuffle. This is a franchise pivot. Cleveland didn't dip its toes into the Shedeur era. They cannonballed into it, and somehow it feels right. Not cautious, not conventional, but absolutely right. Yes, Gabriel's injury is heartbreaking. No one is celebrating that. But let's be real. The quarterback room was already simmering with tension. The debates were already raging. The evaluations were already being tallied. And Shedeur, he was primed. From his first NFL snap, he radiated composure, precision, poise. He wasn't just a legacy name. He had the mechanics, the reads, the footwork, the deep strike that made defensive backs swivel in disbelief during joint practices. This wasn't flash without foundation. This was a quarterback engineered for the modern era. And what did Stefanski do? He slow cooked it, cautious, deliberate, like baking bread at 200 degrees and feigning surprise when it never rose. But now with Gabriel sidelined, the excuses have evaporated. Stefanski was forced into the inevitable, handing Shedeur the real keys, not valet keys, the master keys. QB1, opening day, full throttle, no asterisk, no development year, no more. We're evaluating options. It's go time. And that timing, brutal. Season opener against the Ravens, perennial top 5 defense, blitz packages like cheat codes, safety disguises complex enough to humble a NASA engineer, Lamar Jackson grinning on the opposite sideline, primetime spotlight, trial by infernal, but Shedeur doesn't flinch. If he's learned one thing from his father, it's how to command the stage without unraveling. From Jackson State to Colorado, the spotlight stalked him, and never once did it consume him. In fact, it's where he thrives. He's not just stepping into the fire, he's pouring gasoline on it. And Cleveland is embracing every spark. Fans are all in. Jersey sales skyrocketing. Local diners renaming sandwiches in his honor. His first presser as a starter packed wall to wall. You could hear the silence when he walked in, calm as stone, and said, "I'm ready." That's all I need to say. No bravado, no faux humility, just unvarnished truth. That's the difference. Shedeur doesn't need to roar to be heard, doesn't need to puff his chest. His confidence isn't theater, it's earned. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what Cleveland has been missing. Because let's be blunt, the Browns have been chasing for decades, chasing the elusive franchise quarterback, chasing relevance, chasing that one magical season where it all fuses together. But now, for the first time in forever, they're not chasing. They're building. The playbook's already shifting toward him. More rollout packages, rapid fire RPOs, vertical strikes with true separation, designed QB keepers to harness his mobility without overexposure. This isn't plug and play. This is a full-blown philosophical reboot. And guess who's fully on board? Joe Flacco. The vet, the Super Bowl champ, the man who could have sulked, politicked, or mailed it in. Instead, he's mentoring Shedeur, breaking down coverage shells on the sideline, championing him like a true elder statesman. That chemistry, rare, unscripted, impossible to manufacture, but when it's real, you feel it. And this locker room feels it. The energy has transformed. No more awkward side glances. No more tense questions about the future. The Browns aren't hesitating anymore. They're leaning all the way in.
The future has arrived. It's wearing number 2. It carries a cannon for an arm, and it just gripped the steering wheel of a franchise starving for relevance. But don't get it confused. This road won't be smooth or simple. He's going to take brutal hits. He'll throw interceptions. There will be nights when the spotlight feels scorching, when the pocket caves in, when he learns the hard way what it truly means to carry the weight of being the guy in the NFL. But here's the difference with Shedeur. He doesn't crumble. He recalibrates. He adapts. He keeps coming back. Because he's not merely competing to silence doubters. He's competing to validate the believers. The ones who recognized his growth, dissected the film, and placed their trust in him when others were too busy tearing him down. Now, with an entire stadium chanting his name and a city desperate for revival, Shedeur steps directly into destiny. Circle that Week 1 matchup in bold red ink, because no matter the outcome, this isn't just the start of another season. It's the dawn of a new chapter in Cleveland Browns history, one destined to echo long after kickoff. Shedeur Sanders, QB1. Buckle up. Because what's unfolding in Cleveland isn't a simple quarterback switch. It's a tectonic shift. The instant Kevin Stefanski stood at that podium and declared, "Shedeur Sanders will be our starter Week 1," the entire gravitational pull of this franchise tilted. That wasn't a depth chart update. That was a reckoning, a declaration that the Browns' identity, future, and leadership had been instantly redefined. Make no mistake, this was never the blueprint. Dylan Gabriel going down with a herniated disc wasn't in the script. It shattered the carefully packaged rookie development timeline. The Browns tried to shield themselves with all offseason. Their plan was to let Shedeur marinate, learn from the sidelines, adjust to the speed of the NFL, sit behind the curtain until it felt safe. But now, there's no curtain left, no training wheels, no safety net. And Shedeur didn't blink. He embraced the fire like he'd been waiting for it all along. Relief even flickered across his face, as though the burden of watching lesser talents, waist reps, had finally been lifted. His first practice as QB1 told the story. Calm eyes, crisp throws, huddle command like a 10-year veteran. His teammates noticed. Linemen nodding after every snap. Receivers sprinting back, eager for more. The entire atmosphere shifted, the tempo quickened, the execution sharpened, energy surged. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's ignition. He's a live wire charging a franchise that sputtered under half-powered leadership for far too long. Even the coaches can't deny it now. The offense is mutating before our eyes. More rollouts, more movement, more aggression. This isn't the stagnant, plodding scheme of last season. This is fresh, explosive, tailor-made for him. And yet, here comes the crucible. Because this isn't Hollywood. It's the NFL. And the NFL doesn't gift fairy tale endings. It makes you bleed for them. Week 1, the Ravens await. They're not arriving with balloons and pep talks. They're arriving with exotic blitzes, suffocating coverages, and linebackers built like wrecking balls. They don't care that Shedeur is young. In fact, they're banking on it. They're going to test him, early, relentlessly, violently. But that's where he thrives. That's always been the essence of Shedeur Sanders. The flash of the name and the viral highlights might fool outsiders, but underneath lies grit, the relentless work ethic, the chip carved into his shoulder. He's been underestimated at every stage, dismissed as just his father's son, accused of padding stats in a weak conference, told he couldn't handle real competition. And each time he responded, he delivered. That's what makes this moment poetic. The same kid told to wait his turn in Cleveland is now being called upon to rescue a season before it begins. And he will. Not because he's a messiah, not because he's flawless, but because he knows exactly who he is. He doesn't need coronation. He builds his crown one snap, one drive, one game at a time. And Cleveland, this bruised, battered city, is ready for him. Ready to believe? Again, through decades of heartbreak, dysfunction, and squandered promise. Through hope that always fizzled before it could ignite. Cleveland fans have endured. But now, something feels different. Hope doesn't feel naive anymore. It feels earned. Walk into any neighborhood bar, and every screen is replaying his practice throws. Kids are begging for number 2 jerseys on their birthdays. Local radio is counting down to the opener like it's a playoff. This isn't just buzz, it's belief. And it's not shallow belief in hype. It's conviction in a new era. A quarterback who isn't just gifted, but composed. Who doesn't just improvise, but strategizes. Who doesn't just talk swagger, but backs it up snap after snap. And behind him, an entire city that finally feels justified in believing again. But here's the reality. Belief alone doesn't win Sundays. That's the next test. Shedeur has to convert faith into results. That means thriving under duress, diagnosing defenses that refuse to blink, executing in 2-minute chaos, taking punishing hits and rising, owning mistakes and erasing them by the very next snap. It's a brutal task, but here's why you lean in. He's already doing it. Internal reports gush. Coaches say his retention is elite. Veterans whisper he's already one of the most commanding voices in the locker room. Let that sink in. Rookie quarterback. Already the leader in the room. That can't be faked. And yes, growing pains are inevitable. Misreads, late throws, moments where the learning curve swings back hard. But if you think those setbacks will break Shedeur, you haven't been watching closely. He learns quicker than most predict. And by mid-season, don't be shocked if the Browns aren't building around him anymore. They're competing because of him. That's what happens when you stop ducking from the future and finally embrace it. Cleveland didn't ask for this moment, but Shedeur was built for it. Week 1. Ravens. National spotlight. Shedeur Sanders QB1. The torch has been passed, and this time, Cleveland isn't letting it extinguish. The energy inside the Browns facility tells the story. Reporters feel it. Staff murmur about it. Hardened veterans who've witnessed every flavor of quarterback carousel finally admit it out loud. This kid is real, and it's not hyperbole. It's not preseason delusion. It's raw, unfiltered respect. Not just for the way he zips an 18-yard out against press coverage, or how he threads needles between safeties like geometry in motion, but because of his presence. The way he shows up early, stays late, grinds like nothing is owed to him. It doesn't matter that he's the son of prime time. It doesn't matter that his name trends every other week, or that his jersey is outselling half the league. He earns it the old-fashioned way: work, and players notice. Linemen dig in harder when they trust their quarterback. Receivers polish routes when they know the ball's coming out on time. Even defenders admit the huddle has a new rhythm, a sharper pulse. It's contagious. That's what transforms a quarterback into a cornerstone. Let's not sugarcoat where he landed. This isn't a cushy quarterback-friendly system. This is Cleveland, a franchise practically allergic to quarterback stability. A city that's seen more QBs than playoff wins in 2 decades. But suddenly, there's a pulse. There's structure. There's leadership that doesn't cower beneath history but stares directly at the future and rewrites it. And no, this isn't a fairy tale. Not every throw will be a touchdown. Not every drive ends in glory. There will be moments the pocket implodes when mistakes stack. But here's the pattern of his entire career. Every doubt becomes fuel. First, they said he was only relevant because of his dad. Then, they said his numbers were inflated by a weak conference. Then, they said he wasn't NFL ready. And each time, he answered. Now, he's the starting quarterback of a team staring at contention today, not 5 years down the road. The offense itself is evolving to him, not the other way around. Shotgun, sets laced with motion. Play-action bootlegs highlighting his athleticism. Quick reads that weaponize his vision. No longer trapped in an outdated playbook built for pocket statues from 2014. This is tailored for his game. And the fans, they feel it. Cleveland hasn't been this electrified since Baker's debut under Thursday Night Lights. But even that had a cross-your-fingers vibe. With Shedeur, it feels an inevitable. And don't overlook the cultural ripple. Shedeur's already reshaping the Browns' identity. Local businesses are partnering with his team. Media segments featuring him dominate airwaves. Every time he speaks, he walks a razor edge of humility and authority, both approachable and larger than life. He's becoming the face of the franchise before a single regular season snap, but the trial by fire is coming. Week 1. Baltimore. That defense, that pass rush, that deep end of the pool where rookies either sink or rise and redefine everything. And if history tells us anything about Shedeur Sanders, he won't just rise. He'll own the water. The NFL's deep end doesn't hand out floaties. And nobody's offering Shedeur one. But maybe that's the point. Because what better way to announce your arrival than to walk into the lion's den and declare, "I'm not running from the pressure. I am the pressure." That's the Shedeur Sanders experience. He's not here to be sheltered. He's not here to hold a clipboard until the timing feels safe. He's here to win. And to do it on his own terms. He knows the stakes. He knows that one stumble will have the media circling like vultures, Twitter dissecting every overthrow, and pundits recycling the lazy headline. Was he just hype all along? But he's been forged in this. This moment isn't too big because he's been preparing for it since he was a kid. watching film with Dion in the living room. Since his first college start, in front of half-empty bleachers that still carried the weight of expectation. Since the day he realized a famous last name means nothing unless you can back it up. And Shedeur always backs it up. Put it in perspective. Cleveland has its guy. The locker room is all in. The fans are bought in. The scheme is reshaping around him. And the moment, it's right now. The Ravens will throw everything at him. Exotic blitzes, hostile crowds, relentless pressure. But every dropback, every scan of the field, every laser release with surgical precision, it's more than running an offense. It's the Browns rewriting their identity. This is what it looks like when a franchise finally releases its grip on fear, its grip on ghosts, and places its faith in a quarterback who craves the weight. He's not avoiding expectation, he's hunting it. Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't just want to play in the NFL, he intends to own it. And Cleveland, they've never seen anything like this before. But they're about to. Week 1, Shedeur versus Baltimore. It's not just a debut. It's the dawn of a new era. By sunrise on that Sunday, Cleveland won't just be waking up to a football game. They'll be waking up to a reckoning. A quarterback dawn decades in the making, finally arriving with sunglasses, a calm grin, and swagger that doesn't drip arrogance, but radiates certainty. Shedeur Sanders isn't here to survive. He's here to thrive. And yes, the NFL chews up rookies and spits them out. One bad throw, and you're branded a bust. But Shedeur isn't like other rookies, and Cleveland isn't like other situations. For the first time in forever, this franchise isn't retreating into caution. They're betting everything on potential, bold, fearless, necessary, because Shedeur belongs here. He talks like a leader, works like a veteran, studies film like it's a personal crusade, and no coach, no defensive coordinator, no critic has rattled him yet. But this isn't just about him. It's about what he represents. He's the break in the cycle, the answer to decades of quarterback misery, the antidote to dysfunction. He's not asking Cleveland to heal. He is the healing. And that matters to a fan base scarred by heartbreak and humiliation. The long list of names on the jersey of failure can finally stop growing. Because Shedeur isn't just good on tape or in highlight reels. He elevates everyone around him. Receivers say he throws the most catchable ball they've ever touched. Linebackers admit he processes their disguises too quickly to fool. Defensive backs swear on he doesn't just read plays. He predicts them. Those aren't rookie traits. Those are franchise cornerstone traits. This isn't a kid who stumbled into QB1 because of injury luck. This is a quarterback who kicked the door off its hinges the moment his number was called, and never looked back. And yes, the first interception will come. The critics will sing. The trolls will dance. But Shedeur doesn't hide from noise. He feeds off it. Don't expect sulking when adversity hits. Expect obsession. Expect extra film. Late-night texts to receivers. More reps. Sharper execution. Expect growth. Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't just want to be good. He wants to be legendary. And he's willing to bleed, sweat, and sacrifice to get there. That kind of hunger doesn't just lift a quarterback, it transforms a team. It resets standards. It spreads like fire. This, right here, right now, is the scene they'll replay in slow motion years from now. The moment Shedeur Sanders stepped under center and never looked back. Thank you guys. See you next video.